You're listening to The Soul of Generation X, and you can find The Soul of Generation X on Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, and wherever you get your podcast.
Welcome back to The Soul of Generation X. Thank you for joining us once again as we discuss the topics that are affecting our world and your world as well. And once again, I am joined by my outstanding co-host, Lenny. Lenny, how's it going?
Good, man. It's good. So glad to be here again with you once again in studio.
That is awesome. Awesome. We're glad to have you as always. Glad to have your knowledge. And, so many things have been going on. And I mean, just not even 7 days. And we always talk about how we try to keep ourselves sane, with all this going on. What have you been doing since last week? Have you done anything, any leisurely things? Or you just still working hard?
Wow. Trying to keep up with all the latest breaking news that it seems like it's coming out every 2 minutes. It's like going around the world in 80 days. So, no, I've actually just been soaking it all in and decompressing as much as I get in. I try to decompress twice as much out. Before we got on the show, before I came into the studio, I was sitting back listening to one of my favorite singers, jazz, scatting, Al Jarreau.
Al Jarreau, yeah.
And he had a song that he sang called Let's Pretend. And one of the verses said, "Let's pretend we're in another world." So I thought that was kind of fitting for what we probably get into tonight with everything that's going on. So, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's pretend to me. But I feel like we're in a bizarre world still. But, there's always an outlet. But I just thought it was fascinating. That's one of the ways that I decompress from everything. And I was doing it with Al Jarreau, decompressing.
That's something that really is something I would do. I mean, because I like to immerse myself in music, whether I'm playing it or listening to it. It takes me away from a lot of problems and things going on. Do you have any of the lyrics in that song that you can remember that stand out to you?
Let's pretend we're running around like crazy, and everything is like, what's going on? We got to have some kind of magic. We got to have some kind of inspiration to get us through the day. I just know it said, let's pretend, we're in another world. It's like running off somewhere, running away from reality, getting out of all the craziness that's going on in the world and going to a place where nobody knows you or, there's nothing but happy times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just one of those things that, we all need to escape sometime. We all need to get away.
That's true. And then when you can't physically get away, like I said, we have different things that we, like I love to play music as well as listen to it. And that really takes me away. But Al Jarreau, I believe you're giving a tribute to him. I believe Al Jarreau passed about 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible voice. Some of those songs, like this song you didn't even hear, I think it was a B-side. It never was like you had to really be an Al Jarreau fan to delve in it. So maybe some of our listeners out there will take it upon themselves to check out Al Jarreau a little bit deeper, because I think some people only know his song Morning.
Yeah.
And the ones that you were played out, but I know you do like me. I delve deep into an album and pull out something that, that's popular to me, and never, might not have been, made the top 100, but that doesn't mean it was not a top 100 song. So That's good. Yeah, giving a tribute to Al Jarreau. So yeah,
Great,
very,
great Al Jarreau, yes.
very nice, very nice. Anything else you've been doing, or you
Yeah.
just?
Well, I didn't know that we had reverse slave trade going on till I saw where the white Afrikaners were imported into America. I guess they were, according to what the White House said, and number 47 said, was that they were escaping hardship, tyranny. Their land was taken from them, and they were oppressed. So instead of them coming over on the boats, like our ancestors did, they flew on a 747 and a military plane. So, you know, this is just, like I said, this is bizarro. You know, this is just straight nonsense. And you know, for the White House to, you know, call this, that these people who actually stole the land and was one of the was in favor of apartheid. Now all of a sudden they're crying wolf. They're crying that they're the ones that begin to discriminate against when the land that they had was stolen from our people. So I don't see how anybody. Well, I can see where people are trying to make an argument about it because that's where they are. So it just baffles my mind that, you know, in this day and age, we don't use boats anymore to bring people over. We fly them on big jets, the government-funded jets, planes to get here to escape.
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah. I was wondering, do you think, do you think Elon Musk has anything to do with this?
Oh, no doubt about it, because his family probably was one of the ones that was in favor of, I'm pretty sure, of apartheid and had stolen land from the black Africans over there in South Africa. So, yeah.
I think he's funded it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he's knee-deep in it. But it also goes to show you how, you know, what a big double standard this country, this president and his cronies have done. So people who are literally being oppressed, who are trying to escape their country to come to a better life in America, have been sent back home, have been told you got to come in the right way, you got to wait your turn. Right. But yet these white Afrikaners, they put them to the front of the line. And so I thought that was the problem, that the people that was coming in the country now were getting ahead of the people who had been waiting. You know what I'm saying? So, so what if they can't jump the line? So why can these white Africans come and jump the line in front of the people who have legitimately been waiting in line to get to? That's what really just baffles my mind.
Well, I heard another fellow podcaster say in a joking manner, and he was sarcastic, really, but he was saying he's waiting for them to call themselves African Americans. Have you heard that? When they get over here and get everything established, he's saying, don't be surprised if they called themselves African Americans. Now that's kind of a double-edged. I mean, you follow me on that one?
Yeah.
I mean, had you heard that or?
Well,
I heard that. I think I heard that last night. It was just like somebody's being sarcastic, but they were upset about it. And I thought I had to think for a second when he said it, and I said, yeah, they could do that.
Well, I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening coming over here dealing with these African Americans, because these African Americans aren't going to tolerate that BS that they were allowed to do over there. You know, apartheid would have been last 20, 30 years over in South Africa. So, you know, but, you know, where they were in charge, where they ruled, I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening over here, where they're going to see the African Americans here in a total different light. That now this is not like South Africa. These African Americans over here got freedoms, they got liberties, they got guns, they got, you know, they run a lot of stuff So it just won't be the same for them. And I wouldn't be surprised. And I tell you one thing, they'll probably end up having dual citizenship where they can go back and forth whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But also, I think as well, with the way our system has been running over here with the entitlement, white supremacy, tab being placed on many things, they might just fall in line. You know what I mean? It's white supremacy, entitlement
Yes.
has taken over, which really is why we're in the situation we're in now, because you had enough people that, like I heard this guy today, he was from Lebanon, and he was on another podcast, and he was talking he said he has a cousin that they're here in the United States that is a full on straight up Trump supporter. And they would argue before the election, and this guy himself, he supported Kamala Harris and the Democratic side. He said that he would get in arguments with his cousin. So fast forward to now, he asked his cousin, "Do you regret voting for this man?" And his cousin said he regretted it, but not even going that far though, Lenny. Why, before all of that, when you get back to the part when he said they were arguing before, wouldn't 34 felonies, a life of grifting, just a non-presidential demeanor, shouldn't that, and white supremacist attitude, wouldn't that be enough for you to say, I'm not voting for this guy? Why would we get into a situation where we even gets to, okay, you got Kamala Harris here and you got Donald Trump here with all the things that he's done, and this is going back before the election. Let me get your view on this. Why would we even have to stand that item up, this guy up against good versus evil? Why would 60% of Caucasian Americans settle for that than settle for this woman who happened to be shades darker than this guy? Why would they settle for that over her?
Well, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think has to do with something a lot deeper that's within them. Something in them identified with him, and he was able to draw on that. What it tells, it exposed. It didn't matter how good of a churchgoer that person was, or Ed claims to be, or a good friend on the job who has black friends and all this, and good old fishing buddy down at the creek, or my NASCAR buddy. It exposed and brought to light something that was deeply seated in them, in what Trump 47, whatever you want to call him, he started cultivating that, what was already in them. Now, maybe it was something ancestry that passed down through generational. Maybe they had a run-in, or somebody cut them off and they blurted out the N-word or the H-word, whatever. So as he started, and when I say cultivating, his language started being appealing to them. It started start manifesting itself in them. It's like when you nurture a plant from the seed, and you water, you fertilize, you nurture it, and you gotta keep the bugs off. You gotta put poison on it, kill all the bugs and stuff like that. So put some
salt on it, put some lime on it.
Lime on, yeah. But as he kept spouting off, it kept drawing them closer. It started nurturing that tree till it grew up in them. Now, they tried to suppress it for a long time, and actually they had a lot of us fooled. And I'm going to put this where the goats can get it, as my granddad used to say.
Okay.
This was already in them. The shaking of hands and back slapping, and, we're all in it together, and, 9/11, we got to pull together.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're all in it together, then I'm not going to do nothing to try to hurt you. You're not going to do nothing to try to hurt me.
Right.
If I hear somebody coming out the mouth wrong about you, I got to stand up and put that person in check.
Right.
And I would expect the same thing in return.
Right.
But that didn't happen.
No.
That didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
So it created a love affair. And I'm going to call it what it is, a love affair that they have with 47. They love his language. They love his hair. They love his action. They want to be him.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be this guy. And I don't care how many times you sit up in the choir stand or praise and worship group and sit up in church day and night, go to all kind of different Bible study classes and all this. If you identify with that, then that's who you are. And as far as I'm concerned, it's no earthly good when you identify like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not good for, and I'm not just talking spiritually, I'm talking just the common good of mankind.
Right.
Every empire has crumbled within itself like it's an implosion for the same principles that we see happening now.
Yeah. That's true. It was already something there, like you said, but also in addition to that, so you're saying that something there would make you, and I don't make you choose good, make you choose evil over good. Depends on your definition of evil and good. Or you looking for what you think relates to you, and we're not saying every Caucasian person is like this or every black person is like this, or you're looking and you're seeing that, okay, I think I can relate to this. Now that's one Caucasian person, and you pull another Caucasian person over, and that person says, hey, I relate more to that over there, not, you know what I mean? So you never know. And so when you say that it's in them, why would it be in that one and not that one? And I know I'm getting kind of deep on that, but
well, I think, people are different. People can try to fool you some of the time, but everybody can't fool you all the time. And people they have to be who they are. They can't contain who they are. If it's like this, if you let's say you stop drinking, but deep down you're still alcoholic. The first chance you get a chance to take a nip, you're gonna do that when nobody's watching, nobody's looking.
No integrity.
Then you're gonna try to get a same way if you're a gambler. If you stop gambling. But you go around the corner, you slip and buy your lottery ticket or scratch off,
Right.
And it just keeps growing and growing. So you really haven't kicked the habit. And I'm gonna just say, somebody cuts you off, oh, that black so-and-so cut me off, that N-word cut me off. You might let it slip out or say it, but you get home, you suppress it until another situation happens. Then you say it more frequently. You start getting around your pals and buddy. I can talk like this because Tom is not with us today. I can let my hand out and
good
use
point.
A little different language today.
Yeah.
So and I told somebody the day when I had to go to a breakfast conference this morning. My first vote as a young man, when I first started voting at a younger 18, matter of fact, was for a Republican. My first vote was for a Republican for president. I voted for a Republican president because it wasn't about, whether he was black or white. It was because of his policies that I identified with. Mm-hmm. And me being a reasonable person, if it was something that, that I thought was very egregious, no, I wouldn't have voted for him. But he had sound doctrine politics. So did the other guy, but I just felt that this would be good for the country, in my opinion. It wasn't hatred. It wasn't, the guy I voted for didn't show hatred or disdain for one race or another. Mm-hmm. That outwardly, he could have did it in his private time, but outwardly, when he was on TV or talking, it was, what we can do and, build a strong economy and country, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I voted for 3 Republican presidents. And I'm not ashamed to say that because I thought their policies was pretty good. It wasn't demonizing the other side. It was just where I felt as someone who was in business, identified with it. Mm-hmm. But someone asked me, well, what's different with number 47? Number 47 is pure hatred. Evil, greedy, hatred, despicable, no value human being.
It's good.
That gets me.
That point you brought up there about you said you voted for these guys, and I kind of thought about that today. I was at work. I think I was at lunch, coming from lunch, and just kind of getting some show prep kind of in my head, and I said, we have, and I can't think of, to get us hating each other, over the years, not hating totally, but I don't think I'd hate Democrats and Republicans. We get in a competition, and I just kind of just started going over in my head, just looking back, reminiscing after I listened to that podcast, and I tried to think, I said, even some of the presidents or people that were running for president that I may not have cared for back in the day. This is even going back as far as college. And I never, and I'm going to say it, I never had the hate for them. It was just like a football game. When we go out there and play ball, we go play another team, we go to another school. I never had the hate and anger and angst that I have for Donald Trump.
Yep.
And the people, and I'll add, and the people who support him. Because I don't have any feeling or sympathy for any of them that are going through some things that a lot of them. I don't. I think we talked about it a few episodes ago. I'm cold toward that. I literally. Somebody was talking about the ICE thing today. Something happened to where they went into some restaurant somewhere and abducted some people because they were supposed to be undocumented, which undocumented is only a civil charge, which you don't go and handcuff somebody and take it. And those aren't real law enforcement officers anyway.
Right.
But and I thought about it. I said, you going in there, you're taking these people, whoever's. I said, the first thing that came to my head was, well, you're going to keep going. No houses are going to get built. Vegetables are going to be, as you say, rotting in the field. And various things that our undocumented immigrants would do. I said, that's good. I said, and I wasn't saying it good that they got caught. I said, good. I hope that these people experience the low end of what they're a part of or what they're doing. But getting back to the meat of what we're talking about, I just never, during elections, it would be more like I said, like a sports situation, a game. We're competing because this person, but I never had the anger for somebody like I have, you know, with Donald Trump in this situation. And I say that because I don't really. He's just a figurehead with all of this.
Yeah.
We know who's, we can get into Stephen Miller and all these guys. These are the people who are actually concocting all the things that are going on and just using him out front.
Yeah.
But still, he started this, and the angst that I have for him and those who supported him is 150%.
Yeah.
And I don't take that back.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it starts small and it builds its way up inside a person. And you never know what triggers it in the person. Maybe they had a run-in or bad experience with someone from another race or whatever. Maybe they're upset because their children or got pregnant from somebody from another race, or the son is dating someone else. But whatever it is, it was something that was already there. And, until they come to grips with it and just say, hey, listen, this is, admit to themselves that, hey, why am I hating this person? Why am I identifying with this guy when I know it's wrong? And a lot of them know it's wrong, but they just can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. It's something that's pulling them. It's like a gravitational pull that's just, they can't pull away from it. Now, a lot of them don't even want to pull away from it. They run to it. That's how they get their fix. That's how it's like a dope addict runs to get that needle in his arm. And that's what they are. They run to 47 to get injected with high. And they go back out and talk crap. And when they get shot down, they come back in.
That is a great example, a way to put it, a way to parody that. That is really very unique the way you put that. Say that one more time. Let's say it.
It's like a dope addict. Someone, they're waiting to put a needle in their arm, and when they want their fix, they run to 47, and he injects them with all kind of foolish nonsense and hate, and they go out and spew it out again, and then when they get shot down with the facts, they run back to him again and get some more. So it's a repeat cycle with them. Man,
that is so profound to the way you put it like that. He and as you were saying that, I was picturing a syringe.
Yeah.
And I was picturing an arm open and somebody. I'm serious. I mean, I just, that's how I think like that, and I'm seeing that vein pop up and that syringe goes right in there, and that hate just comes, and he just injects them with hate and makes them feel that, hey, it's okay to be this way.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out and I'm going to be this way. I don't care about so-and-so who I work with or so-and-so. I'm going to go out and be. Donald Trump has given me the prescription
that I need,
the meds that I need to, and then when you take that a step further, what is the best way that a heroin addict or a drug addict like that gets rid of that syringe? What do you do? You gotta stomp it out, throw it away, break it up, right?
Well, if you ever been around a heroin addict,
yes, I have.
Detox, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. What these people will have to come to grips with when this is all said and done, are they going to be able to manage? And I'm serious about this. A lot of these people will not be able to function. I'm predicting that, and I'm not trying to hope bad on anybody. I predict a lot of them will have some serious withdrawals. Some of them might take up arms against the government again. Some of them might go on a shooting spree. Some of them might kill themselves.
True.
Some of them might get off the grid and live in the up in the mountains like Grizzly Adams or somebody.
Grizzly
Some
Adams.
of them might get some of them might have enough support to go get them some help, therapy, professional help.
Right.
But one of those things are going to happen when all this story is said and done, and Trumpism is dead, and Trump is long gone, and the truth comes out, and these people have nothing to hold on to, because see, that's what they do. They're holding on. This is their hope. I've always been taught, like a preacher, never read the book for yourself. Read the Bible or whatever you want to read. Read it for yourself. Just don't take a man's word for it. Because when you find out he's been lying to you, he's been exposed, it's going to deflate you so bad. And I'm afraid that these people are going to have some serious withdrawal. Because I had one person on this chat I was doing said, "Oh, DEI, that's right. DEI is the reason that these planes are falling. DEI is the reason that they can't get qualified air traffic controllers." So I said, you know what? I don't know if you ever flew or not, I said, but if you find out when you taxing down the runway or 35,000 feet in the air that you got a black pilot, what are you going to do? Or you have a Hispanic pilot or a woman pilot, what are you going to do?
You asked this guy that?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Well, okay. What did he say?
Are you going to want to, they never did respond. Are you going to want to get out the plane at 35,000 feet? Or you never going to fly again? No, you're not going to do none of that. You're going to sit your butt down and enjoy the ride. Your main thing is you want to get there safe. I don't care who the pilot is.
But you said you asked him and he or she didn't respond. They couldn't respond.
They couldn't respond.
So
because, see, they like we go back to the syringe. See, when they got a fix, came out with this, but when they got shot down, now she's gonna have to run back and get some more ammunition, get shot up again with that syringe and make that vein pop up and tie that band around her elbow and inject it in, and she'll come back with another foolish nonsense. Shoot it down again.
Man, that is, like I said, that is so profound, man. I'm as you talk about that, I'm sitting here picturing that again.
Yeah.
Like you said, he or she needed, they couldn't answer you. You shut them down.
Right.
So they got to go back and get that fix and then come back with some more foolishness, as you said. Yeah. Maybe. But, and when you ask this person that, you're saying it could have been a black person, could have been, but you're thinking it's a Caucasian person, but we'll say it is. That same person that's spewing all that hate out to you will go sit up at Longhorn Steakhouse or Outback and accept that meal that brother has cooked back there. A lot of times, you're going to put in your body.
Yeah.
This, which they've been doing for 400 years.
Yeah.
You're going to accept that you spewing all this hatred and poison to Lenny online, but then you go out and you sit down at that table and you order that meal, and you look in the back there and it's a black man that took that porterhouse off of that grill,
right,
and put it in that plate. Do you eat it? What do you do? I mean, we got some hypocrisy going on here, right?
Right. Oh yeah, big hypocrisy. And since you brought up about Longhorns, you remember that commercial way back? We were a lot young kids, and it said, "Someone's in the kitchen at Morrison."
Yes, Morrison's.
And
yes,
who was you see back there cooking all that food?
It was all us. No, Lenny. It was us. And then when you actually go to Morrison's, who do you see in there? Us.
Yeah.
Black folk.
Yeah.
Okay. You'd see us in there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very good point that you brought. Yeah. So the hypocrisy of I can't do this, I can't do that, and blah, 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 and but you go and sit down and you eat this meal.
Yeah.
It makes you just wonder. I don't make you wonder because are you putting on like you said last week? Are you putting on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you putting on because you need some attention?
Right.
Are you a loser?
Right.
Are you that much of a loser that you need to put on, that you got to care about somebody else's business that much? You know, you worried about, you're worried about LGBTQ going here and going there. You're worried about transgender people doing this. And is it affecting you?
Right.
You worried about, oh, we can't have this and that there. The undocumented immigrants, blah, blah, they're not supposed to. Well, did you stop to think, to look and check and see what supposedly undocumented immigrants do for you?
Right.
How they contribute to your government? In addition to doing things that many of us probably would not do, for 14 hours a day.
Right.
In some places.
Right.
But you spew this off because I don't know.
Right. And I'm just turn this another way for real quick.
Okay.
We as minorities in this country, we have to go into every, I'm going to say, critical situation, hoping that the services that we get and the people that provide those services are true. And I'm going to give you a good example.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the doctor, let's say you got to have surgery. You don't know what your doctor does outside of his profession.
Mm.
You don't know if he dressed up in the white robe and this and that. But when we as minorities, we have to go in with the hope and belief and pray that this guy is who he says.
True. Yes, very true. Very true. Very true.
That's our extra burden that we have, because we don't know once we're laying on the operating table and he slices open, he gonna leave a scalpel inside of us, or he gonna slip up. We go in blind. We go in with the blind, and we got to pray to say, Lord God, But see, they don't have to, pretty much worry about that. We do. We have to be. That has to be in the back of our minds. When you go to the dentist and you got your mouth open, that guy drilling in them, most worst sound in the world. We don't know if the guy want to take the drill and just drill all the way down up and put to our brain. We have to believe that. Oh my God, that's like, okay, I don't know what this guy does outside of his letters on his wall and his degrees, what he does 11, 12 o'clock at night where he goes.
Mm-hmm.
Or what his philosophy is.
So true.
All we can do is just hope that, hope this guy's what he says. We have that.
So true.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, Lenny. And people don't realize, what someone goes through, and we say us because, we were kidnapped and brought here. We didn't come here because we wanted waterfalls and the fishing and the flowing brook down there. We want to camp. We were brought here, kidnapped and brought here. We didn't ask to come here. So our numbers here are what? We're like 12 or 13% of the country, if that much, right? Something like that. It's not many of us here. So we are a minority. So from what you just said just now, that's something that we deal with daily from even our daily working just in general. You are, or then, you brought the doctor and the dentist. You're hoping that someone will practice what they've learned in their profession, in the medical profession, and they're going to hold true to take care of you as they've been, dubbed, and certified to, that is really something that,
Yeah.
and it comes up once in a while. And it
Because
came up
now-
during the COVID
Yeah,
situation.
Yeah, because this, real quick, I just want to say this.
No,
Because
yeah.
Now, see, we didn't have concern like this back in the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s. Now we have to speculate and question everything. Now, when you go to the doctor and you hope that your doctor's giving you the right prognosis and diagnosis, because you don't know what side of the spectrum he's coming from. You don't know if he's able to put his whatever he believes politically, if he's able to check it at the door. You don't know if he's able to do that or not. We just don't know. When I go get adjusted my chiropractor, I don't know if what his belief is. I hope he seems like a nice guy, but I hope he's able to leave his politics at the door.
You don't know.
No.
You don't know.
Yeah.
And that's something we've dealt with. And just as you and I have talked and spoken about these things over the years, and as we say, our crew that we hung out with from high school to now, and we still all see each other once in a while. I can truly say that our group of, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 of us, we didn't ever get together and talk about how much we hate people, how much we just didn't do it. I mean, there are some of us who do that. You know what I'm saying? But I can honestly say that, all you guys, we just weren't like that. We didn't get we were including, because I think all of us, because we have so many different friends of different, nationalities, in general combined. But I never sat down. We never sat down and said, and I'm just gonna say it, man, how much we can. These white folks, man, they just, but you get a little frustrated sometimes. But I don't think we've ever sat down and said something like that. But like you said, we're careful, but we didn't spread that hate amongst each other as if we were going to a Klan meeting and we wanted to. We gotta go find a white guy to do something and make an example. And I'm not saying that we're, all of us are perfect, but I just had to throw that in there because I just, and how many people can you ask that, you hear these stories, of people on the job and, some of you, as we say, the good folks, they'll say, I was at a family gathering the other day and I heard my uncle Robert, he was in there, he started spouting off the N-word. And I went in and I told him, I said, we're not going to have that here. But, and you hear stuff like that, it makes you feel good, because that person there, and you hear that a lot, they'll say, I got a lot of hate in my family. I don't go to this function anymore because I'm, blah, blah. But, and it can go either way. It could not just white, it's black folks doing the same thing. We got some Tim Scotts out there, running rampant, in families. And when you can stand up for someone and, and say something, like, where they're talking about their gender or something like that. And you say, well, has that person ever done anything to you? Has that person ever tried to hurt you? How many times has that person that you're worried about their gender probably helped you do something more than, at the doctor's office, prescription, a restaurant, something like that. So just hating on somebody because you think you got the power or because you or the numbers, it just that syringe doesn't, as you put it, man, you're gonna make me go back to the syringe over and over, probably. But that syringe won't get they won't change until that syringe is somehow destroyed. Cracked and destroyed, stepped on, needle broken. You know what I mean?
Right, you're right.
And we know at the moment we could say we know who that one syringe is, but daily we're finding out there are multiple syringes. We're looking at Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
Stephen Miller, Supreme Court, parts of the Supreme Court,
You're right.
representatives who are supposed to be protecting all of their constituents, right?
Exactly.
So we have multiple syringes. I think you, Lenny, I think you've given us the title of the show. That's what I hear. So I hear some of the podcasts I listen to. You'll hear them say, "You know what? You just gave us the title of the show," and you look, and that's the title of the show. Man, this is really some eye-opening conversation on this. Wow. You know what? Let's take a break, and we'll come right back after these messages. Welcome back to the Soul of Generation X. Outstanding first segment we had there. And we want to thank you all for supporting us and listening each week. And thank you for the emails and correspondence that we get. We really appreciate it. We appreciate it. Go and rate us, give us a 5-star rating, and we really appreciate it. Getting back on topic here, what we've been talking about, as Lenny has put it, the syringe, which I can't get out of my head. That's just an amazing parallel to what's going on. We've focused on certain things since this whole ordeal has happened with this new administration. We get angry at various people. We hear a name, whether it be either side, Biden this, Biden that, Biden this, Trump this, Trump this, Trump that, as if they're sitting behind a computer clicking buttons and wreaking havoc. But I have been kind of just like looking back, and that's a lot of people have probably done the same thing, but just kind of just researching on why these things are happening and who we should be looking at, and if you want to say blaming. And in my mind, even though people say Trump this, Trump that, I can't stand to look at the guy, because when I see him, I see him as this, like Lenny said, the syringe that has caused this hate. But back in the back of my mind, I don't see him as the author of the root of I don't say the author, but the root of this terrible nightmare that we're experiencing. In my mind, my mind goes to, when I hear people talk, my mind goes, I see the Supreme Court. That's who I see when people complain, oh, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, Donald Trump going to accept a plane that the Saudis are giving him. Donald Trump, he pardoned these people here. Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump would not have been able to do or is doing or been able to do the things that he's doing, in my view, first of all, if it wasn't for the Supreme Court. And I just want to say this, Chief Justice John Roberts, who authored the majority opinion, and he was joined by justices Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. Justice Barrett concurred in part, expressing reservations about certain aspects of the ruling to give Donald Trump immunity. And Justice Clarence Thomas also wrote separately to question the legality of the special counsel that Jack Smith, who we knew was trying to get some things going, who we don't hear about anymore, right?
Exactly.
And of course, the three liberal justices, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, they dissented on giving Donald Trump immunity. So when you look at it, the majority of the opinion of the ruling to give Donald Trump the authority, if you want to say that, to have immunity and do and wreak the havoc that he's doing, the majority opinion was authored by Chief Justice Roberts. And then it was supported by 5 other conservative justices. And that's who I see as being responsible for the hell that we're going through as a country. And those who supported and voted for this, they're responsible as well. And Donald Trump does not come to my mind in that way. And that's the way my mind thinks like that. I guess I get angry with thinking how he's been the syringe in the arm of causing this drug-induced mess that this country is going, as Lenny put it. But Chief Justice Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts, authored the majority of the ruling to give Donald J. Trump immunity. Lenny, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm I like old black and white movies. I'm a big fan of black and white, scary movies, Frankenstein and Godzilla. And I was sitting back, I was just reading the bio. I've been a big fan of King Kong. Mm-hmm. Not just any King Kong, but the 1933 black and white King Kong. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at the cast of King Kong. And I was looking at the Supreme Court justices. Look back and forth. Mm. So the Supreme Court justices, much as in the movie, decided to bring King Kong from Skull Island into New York City to wreak havoc on New York. Mm-hmm. Now, their intention was, we're going to bring this animal from Skull Island. We're going to be able to chain him up, and we're going to be able to tame him. We're going to be able to keep him on the wraps.
Okay.
That's what that crew, 9 people, were responsible for bringing King Kong from Skull Island to New York City. Okay. And chained up, we can control this guy. Control this animal. So it puts me in the mind of the Supreme Court. Here you are, you taking a person who we know is dangerous, who we know is reckless, careless, and you have you brought him to the city, you brought him to a place where, we'll give him this immunity to do what he want to do, but we can control him. So play it forward to 2025, all the way from 1933 to now, 2025. King Kong wasn't controllable then, and King Kong not controllable now. Because when you play with the Supreme Court has taken a madman, a monster, brought him to the American people and saying, we're going to allow him to do this. We can control him, we think, but we're going to let him do it anyway. So now what has happened? The monster is out of control. He's running roughshod as much as he can over all court decisions because he hasn't obeyed or listened to one iota of what the court has to say. So now all of a sudden, he's broken off, he took his chains off, and he's running through America like King Kong ran through New York City.
Running rampant,
just on a rampage. And he's knocking down all norms. He's not listening. Tranquilizer's not hurting him. But to your point, you put this on yourselves at Supreme Court, and you put the burden on the American people. So now the people have to rise up to do what you refuse to do and try to stop this monster. See, personally, the Supreme Court is outdated. And I just want to say why I think they're outdated. Not outdated because we don't need a Supreme Court. Because, as I said, I think in the previous show, that their decisions are going to last for the next 50 years. The decisions that they made now, within the last several years, are going to carry over to your children, your grandchildren, and maybe your grandchildren's children.
Mm-hmm.
That's a legacy that's lasting, and that's a bad legacy that they're going to have to deal with. You know, and it's sad because Supreme Court should, my personal opinion, they should retire at 65 years old, 67, whatever you want to do. Because as you get older, your thinking doesn't carry on to what the next generation got to deal with.
Right.
But they're absolutely part of the blame. This blame has to go in four ways: Supreme Court, the candidate himself, Congress, and the people that voted for him. You're going to slice up that pie four ways.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, that they've taken Kong off Kong Island when he was doing his thing and destroying stuff on Island. But now you brought him to the mainstream. Now he's out of control. He's out of control. So, to your point, yeah.
Parallel once again. Mm-hmm.
Go
ahead, Lane. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, to your point was, with the current Supreme Court that we have in the justices, it's sad because there is no justice. There is no law anymore. When you got a Supreme Court justice that hangs the American flag upside down, when you have a Supreme Court justice that takes bribes.
Good point on that one.
When you have a Supreme Court justice whose wife is actually influencing the courts and playing partisan politics. When you have a Supreme Court justice and the Chief Justice himself who has given a green light to number 47 to do what you want to do. We're going to turn the blind eye and give you all kind of exceptions and exemptions, and we're going to let you just run them up. So to me, there is no law. I mean, once this guy has blew through all the laws, like he's running red lights in a getaway car, and how do you stop him? You can't trust the courts. You can't trust Congress. He's not going to stop himself, of course. He has no discipline. But you got 70 million Americans who likes watching this show. They're sitting back, yeah, we like this. We like that the bad guy's getting away. But when did we like the bad guy getting away? You know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what did that happen at? When we cheer for, we cheer for bad guys to get away with crimes and mischievous stuff. Where did this happen at? Where did we lose focus?
Mm. Very true, very true. And you wonder, like, well, who watches the Supreme Court? Who do they report to? Who does the checks and balances on them per se, which should be Congress, correct?
It should be.
Should be Congress. Should be Department of Justice as well.
Yeah.
Should be Congress. It should be the Department of Justice. But when you sit back, you look, okay, we got another evil syringe, Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
Okay, Department of Justice. Then we have these spineless Republicans in Congress who could help stop this nonsense. Stop seeing these actions that we're having. Okay, so, but somebody engineered all of this to get it to where that, wait a minute, I can do whatever I want because they're not going to bother me.
Right.
They're not going to bother me.
Mm.
You know, so we're basically, I don't say we're basically stuck with, but even though he's quote unquote immune from presidential things, this person still can be charged with criminal investigations can be done on him, civil lawsuits, and we mentioned in Congress, impeachment, but I don't know how much that's going to take an effect because, like I say, these people are spineless and they're opportunists, and they'll just sit there and watch this man just rob a bank.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, as if they've been well, you got me with this again, Lenny. They've been injected by that syringe.
Yeah. Yep.
You need to write a book on that syringe, man. I'm telling you. You need to write a book on that syringe. Somebody go take it from.
I'm gonna leave it to the professionals to do that.
You
just remember when you heard it first.
Yeah, man. I'm hearing this. I mean, I'm thinking all these people. Kristi Noem, she took a shot of that syringe. Who else can we think of?
Oh, Pete Hegseth.
Oh, well,
Robert Kennedy Jr.
Well, Hegseth would never even qualified to do much of anything, you know, in government-wise, besides what he did military service. But, I mean, the people who were upstanding, quote-unquote, supposedly.
Rubio. He's the biggest.
Yeah, Rubio, Bondi.
Drug addict.
Yeah. They took a shot of that syringe, man.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, getting back to what I was saying, they say that, you know, the Supreme Court's ruling on this immunity thing is rooted in their interpretation of the Constitution and the separation of powers. They, in so many words, so that this president would have room to do things that he wants to do without worrying about being checked and balanced. Mm-hmm. That's the reason reasoning that they give. But what you just said just now with Justice flying a flag upside down, just giving, you know, we've got evil and it just eating into everything. Right. I mean, you know, you think about Thurgood Marshall, first Black Supreme Court Justice. Yeah. What would he say? I mean, you know, I would think, besides dissenting, I could see Thurgood Marshall just saying, you know what, I don't even want to be a part of this anymore. I don't even want to be a part of this. I mean, it just, you know, this is insane. To even be a part. I mean, you're thinking of Justice Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown, Jackson, outstanding people, and to have to lend their, be a part of something with this corrupt side. I mean, how do you think they feel? And in so many cases in the government, and Supreme Court included, we have evil infiltrating parts that you would just not think that this would be happening in the Supreme Court, from, like we said, the flags flying upside down, the justice's wife spewing off comments about things. You remember that at that some kind of party they were at? You remember that?
Yeah.
And then you've got, your favorite Clarence Thomas doing the things he's been doing. So we've got evil infiltrating our government in ways that many people don't even realize. And they look and they say, Donald Trump. Yeah, he's not the author. He's the main character.
Mm.
I don't give him that much credit as being an author, because his intelligence doesn't impress me one bit. But there's evil and corruption in so many other parts of the government, Congress, Supreme Court. How would you? What kind of summary would you give this, Lee?
Well, I'm an old school guy. Well, wasn't always old school, but I remember as a kid, my take with the Supreme Court, and I'm just gonna, real quick, I'm gonna say my first, how I envisioned the Supreme Court was when I used to watch the cartoon, what a show called Shazam. And Shazam,
Shazam.
He's an old elders,
Fleet and strong and wise, people before my seeking eyes. Yep, Shazam, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you see those guys sitting up there, with big chairs,
they say, Billy, what is going on? You remember that voice that we used? Billy, right. Young Billy Batson.
Billy Batson, yeah.
Billy Batson.
So I envision them as wise men to give good sound counsel, to give good directions and as an overseer for what was right. Because, Billy Batson always wanted to try to do what's right and find the best possible solution to a problem. So that was my first, envision of what a Supreme Court would look like.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense, but in my young mind, that's when you hear about the Supreme Court, hey, Billy Baxter, you talk to this guy at the Supreme Court, they're wise, wise men, good counsel. So, but we have gotten so far from that. You got people on the take, people that are anti-American on the Supreme Court.
Opportunists.
Yeah, opportunists.
Everywhere.
Purveyors of evil. America has to do better when it comes to, because you got to understand, through that nomination process, they lied. Kavanaugh lied. Amy Coney Barrett lied. Most of them all lie to some extent. But these guys that 47 picked were just they're not what they say they are. What they told American people they're going to be. Not what they told. They're not what they told that committee they were going to be. You cannot, if you can't trust the word of someone who's supposed to be, laying down the law and the last word on anything in this country, then who can you trust? Maybe that they should have a term limit again. Maybe the people, they need to be voted on just like the president. Our whole election system is based on, except for two things. getting people in the Supreme Court and the president, because everywhere else in our society is done by the popular vote.
Mm-hmm.
If a majority, what do you always say? Majority rules. But why can't it rule as when you're picking a president or you're picking Supreme Court justices?
Mm-hmm. Just the majority rules, not that electoral nonsense, electoral college nonsense. But that was, why that was created. We know,
Right.
why that was created. We won't go into that, but that's always been evil and underhanded when I first started learning civics in high school, and
Right.
so yeah, that is there are no checks and balances, and there should be a way that, this is just me coming up with something here, but in the United Nations, where the United Nations maybe could, because there's supposed to be a group of upstanding folks, right? The United Nations people, when they, from different, maybe there should be something where the United Nations could be an extra or a watchdog on situations, because basically, literally, what the Supreme Court rules is word. I mean, that's it's like whatever, we got to go, like we said, to another galaxy somewhere to find, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
Maybe like I said, the United Nations, could, hey, is this, is what you guys are doing here? This is per se. Is this constitutional? Is this right? Is this is this good natured, and just basically, and it's not. And how do people support something like this? And that's like your coworker. How do you make a choice to pick? Well, a lot of people are regretting it now, but how do you sit and make a choice to pick this over that? And we went into all that. It shouldn't even be. It shouldn't even be. That's like, asking one of these people, okay, you got somebody that comes to your house while you're going, and they take everything you got in there. They take everything, but then you got somebody who's coming over there to maybe help you locate this stuff, and then you say, well, I don't want you to do that. I'm glad they took all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does that sound sane? That's what we're dealing with. I'm glad that they took all of my stuff and they're probably selling it. So you don't want help from this, the detective or the police officer here or the FBI? No. I'm glad they took everything. So when we get here to the situation with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, all the things that this guy's done, and just not even that, just the guy's, just his daily intelligence. I mean, the things he says, you would think with somebody, no class, you would think that these people that would turn them off, but it didn't turn them off. The fake getting shot out there, holding the ears, waving your fist, that was no deal breakers. Well, nothing was a deal breaker. Nothing. Right. From the racism to the supporting racists to doing all these things, and you see these people daily and they're smiling. Hey, Lenny, how you doing today? You just wish you could look inside their head and and see what they're actually thinking. It's just it is somebody's going to have to come up with something here. But anyway,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
That's pretty much what I had. Pretty much all I got. You got anything you want
No,
to
I
add?
mean, I think you summed it up pretty well and to the point. Um, you know, if you can't, if our Supreme Court has, which I believe has failed us as a country, then it's up to the voters. It's up to for the 90 million people that sat on the behind and didn't vote to get off the couch next election,
90
midterms,
million.
and go out and vote.
90 million.
You know?
They won the election.
90
90 million is who won the
90 million
election.
people.
Whoever this invisible person, 90 million, they won the election. Kamala didn't win it. Donald Trump didn't win it. The 90 million.
90 million.
That doesn't even make sense, does it?
Yeah.
90 million people.
Sat home. Sat
And
on the
just-
sideline.
and said, I'm not
They
voting.
didn't say, no one raised their hand and said, I want to go in, coach. Nobody wanted to go in.
I would have, man, that's a good one. I went, Coach, can I get in? They just sat
Nobody
there
was
and
hungry. Nobody wanted it.
so
Nobody wanted
what did they do? They just or either they went to the ballot and they did a write-in of Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse or something.
Yeah, somebody.
They wrote in something, and that right there, you want to use that typical word, sad. That's beyond sad.
Yeah.
You can't pick or don't want to pick good versus evil. And when in making this choice, you're basically going to help or hurt yourself. Yes, we've got some work to do in this country. Supreme Court, Congress, various places that are infiltrating, bringing in evil that we don't even think or know about, but we're just calling out this guy's name. And he's just a figurehead, just a puppet. Well, Lenny, you got anything to close this thing out?
Yeah, actually, I want to just let our many, many, many listeners know that, not to go swimming in contaminated rivers, ditches, streams, or brooks. Our Health and Human Service Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I guess over the weekend decided to go to prove a point that it's okay to go swimming in contaminated rivers. Rock Creek River, I believe it was.
Wow.
Up
Oh,
in
man.
New York.
Yeah.
Where there are signs posted stating
Oh,
no
God.
swimming is contaminated feces and animal waste and all kind of sewage waste. But I guess
Lenny, I am speechless. I mean,
and he has
come,
grandkids.
you come from one of the richest families, wealthiest families, and you're swimming in filth.
What was
and
it's not
nastiness.
just that, it's the fact that you're the Health and
Why?
Human Service Secretary. You're supposed to be looking
but
out for the health of every
God.
American. You're supposed to have sound judgment. See, that goes back to what we talked about earlier in the show.
Mm.
You're hoping that these people that you go to, these quote-unquote professionals, don't have an agenda outside of what they're supposed to do. Because stupidity like this,
Mm.
if the sign say, hey, no swimming, there are gators. But I want to prove a point that there are no gators in here.
Mm.
The sign clearly says, do not swim gator-infested waters. It never, but I only hire the bright and the best. That's what 47 said. And if that's hiring the bright and the best, someone is going to go swimming, not just him. And he just didn't go in there with a swimmer. He went in there with jeans on, blue jeans. If you're going to hire somebody going to go swimming and excuse my language, that's not the bright and the best.
it. I'm at just a loss for thought. I mean, you got enough family money to build a pool by the end of the week, a Olympic sized pool.
Yes.
You could build, or you could just book a cruise on one of the biggest ships. Take your kids, your grandkids. You got so many options, but you go swimming with your jeans on
Yeah.
in contaminated water.
Yeah. And you take your grandkids.
You take your grandkids. Now, would that be child endangerment?
It sure would, because if there's signs stating all over the park, do not swim, contaminated water, high levels of mercury and whatever, it's telling you, but yet you don't care enough about your life, but you're going to put your grandkids in there to prove a point. Yeah, that should be reckless and child endangerment. The state of New York should have arrested him on the spot.
Where did the Kennedys go wrong? With
him, I think
he I don't know. They didn't one of John F. Kennedy's kids, or well, not one, the daughter, didn't she come out and speak on his not on his behalf, but how he should not even be considered?
Oh yeah.
What is her name? Caroline
Kennedy. Yeah. A majority of the family spoke out against him. A super majority of the family spoke out against him. The guy is a crackpot. He is a straight up crackpot. He's anti-vax. He is someone who's on the fringes. He's a conspiracy theorist. That's if you ever want to see what he is, someone, he is on the outer skirts of the Outer Limits. If anybody remember that show.
Yeah.
That's how far this guy is out there. But the problem is that he's influencing somebody will follow. Just like when 47 said, all you got to do is go ingest yourself with bleach and you're cured COVID-19. And people did it.
I heard a nurse the other day say that, young nurse. Actually, I saw her on Instagram. She said when he said, she's been a nurse 7 years.
Yeah.
She said the day after he made that announcement, they had like 60 cases of bleach ingestion at her. I think she's working in the emergency room the day after.
Yeah.
So these people actually went and they did that.
Yeah.
Even with the horse hormones, what they were injecting. What was that veterinary drug they were? Vermectin?
Yeah, something that injected the horses.
That you inject in the horses.
They were shining ultraviolet lights in the body.
Yeah, that gets to a level of you look and you say, wait a minute, did the Department of Education fail them? Because these people are they off the track, they derailed.
Right. Yeah,
man,
they are derailed. They are deranged. Back in the day when we watched our fathers and grandfathers siphon gasoline.
Yeah.
We were like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And I got in a situation one time where I was traveling and I had to siphon some gasoline. The first time ever doing it. But I seen my granddad do it. Oh, he do it. He did. I think I can do it.
Okay.
And it almost killed me on the side of the road. I swallowed so much gasoline. So I ran into a convenience store. I didn't care. I grabbed a 2-liter drink off the shelf, started chugging it to get that nasty gasoline taste out of my mouth because I thought I was going to die. And I'm like, okay, I saw him do it.
Oh,
It didn't kill him. But the problem is the technique.
Lenny, man.
Just
Lenny, man, you on a roll tonight, man. Oh my God, you on a roll.
Being here today.
Lenny, you on a roll.
Because I swallowed that gas up, went up in my throat and my lung, and I thought I was going to die. I was actually traveling. I was going out there. And the store was getting ready to close. I was siphoning gas. And I said, oh, God, please not here. Not in Georgia. Ooh,
oh, my
God.
I'm speechless. I am speechless, man. Oh,
that was a trying time.
That was a good story, man.
What my grandfather had was training. He was trained to do what he was doing, all right? So the moral to this story, don't do stuff that you're not capable of doing. Don't siphon gas if you don't know what the hell you're doing. Don't swim in contaminated creeks with feces and animal waste and all this other stuff and pollution because you're going to kill yourself.
That is ridiculous, man.
Yeah. So just take heed. Listen to professionals, not someone who claims to be a professional. See, my grandfather was a professional at doing sucking gas and diesel, and letting it drain out and somewhere else. It's flowing like you had a gas pump.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know what you're doing, don't siphon gas, and don't listen to crazy people who tell you to jump in contaminated ditches and rivers and brooks and streams because it might cost you your life.
Oh my God.
So that's all I got.
Wow. Man, that is once again an incredible story by Lenny. Lenny has filled our cup tonight with knowledge and profound examples that you've never heard. I mean, I don't think you can hear it on late night TV. I don't even think Johnny Carson had the Lenny had some great material this evening. But in all seriousness, that great material coincided with a good parallel in teaching what our topic was tonight, our topics, which, basically you want to get down to it, government corruption at the highest levels, at many levels. But once again, yes, we want to thank my co-host Lenny for his observations and great insight, entertaining and gripping. Lenny can grip you with that insight. I'm sure our audience has enjoyed that. And we thank him for blessing us with that this evening. We want to thank everybody out there for all our listeners for supporting us around the world. It's amazing. Lenny, have you been in contact with any of our listeners? And we had listeners.
Oh yeah. They responded.
They still responding. Okay.
Really enjoyed the show.
Okay.
Being such a big time difference.
Yeah.
They asked, "Hey, when's the show going to be up? When's it going to be up?"
Wow, that is amazing.
We're getting it out there. But it's so good to know that a reasonable voice to get out there. Truth and honesty. It's not.
Truth and
like
honesty,
you said, before, we're not here to. Well, I ain't gonna say not to bash anybody, but I'm gonna hold people accountable for their actions and how they think and how they carry themselves. Yeah, of course I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not hatred, but it's holding people accountable for their vote, for their actions, for how they think about me as a person
Mm-hmm.
how they feel. And it's not all about me. It's, they may feel the same way. But in this day and age, I'm not giving the pass.
Mm-hmm.
The hall pass has been revoked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Yes, we appreciate all our support, all our listeners, and we want to just thank you all for just tuning in. And it's like Lenny said, we're coming at you with truth, and it's not it's no game. This is something that we deal with daily, and it can really get to you emotionally. Lots of anxiety, depression that we all experience. I experience it, Lenny experiences it, plenty of you out there experience it. You just don't know what tomorrow's, you're trying to hope that tomorrow doesn't bring something, this is something really, really just, it's not good. And we're here to hopefully help you, and we help ourselves as well get through this, and keep an eye out as we will, and report to you all what's going on as we've been doing, and people are going to hear it, and that's what we want.
Yep.
And that's what we want. We're worldwide. We are on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify Podcasts. We are now on YouTube as well. The mighty YouTube, iHeartRadio, Pandora, just to name a few. But like I said, we are now on YouTube. So we're not just worldwide. We're going out in space as well, probably. So at any rate, we thank you all for tuning in, and join us next time as we discuss relative events and commentary going on in this world, and we will see you next time on the Soul of Generation X. Take care.